Hi everyone, I'm Vale. I make sewing vlogs, and this week I made my Halloween costume. So if that's something you're interested in, follow along because it's a fun one. Okay, we're gonna start with the skirt because actually this costume is not that tricky. I am gonna be, as I mentioned, making a skirt, a corset, and I'm gonna be upcycling a blazer. And so the upcycling the blazer, I'm just gonna dye it, like done, easy. And the corset I've made several times before, and corsets are actually pretty easy, a little time consuming, but they're pretty easy. This skirt I've never made before, so the pattern I haven't used before, but I have seen really, really good reviews for it online. So people say that it's pretty quick. And yet, you know, because I haven't made it, it's probably the trickiest part of the costume. And I do tend to like to start my projects with the trickier item first because I'm like, get it out of the way. Like when you eat your vegetables first so that you can enjoy it. Anyway, so we're going to do that. This is going to be a black skirt. Okay, so I was going back and forth on this a lot. The costume itself uses a sort of like a Bermuda short, like a khaki Bermuda short. I've also seen it with khaki pants. You would not catch me dead in a pair of khaki pants or khaki Bermudas because I was a victim of the public school system uniform policy, which was so male-centered. It was like very much a khaki and a polo. And if you are a thick girl in a khaki pant, it is just like, it was sabotage. Like, they really did not want me to win. So we won't be doing that. What I will do is a skirt. So I was like, okay, I'll do a skirt. That seems pretty easy. I'll do a khaki skirt. But then I also didn't want to like buy anything for this. I'm like, I have a ton of fabric in my stash. Like, I just need to use it up. And maybe there's something I can use from my own closet or the things that I don't wear, etc. I couldn't find a single item of clothing that was khaki. I even then was like, let me go steal a pair of my husband's pants. Like, he doesn't wear khaki pants, but maybe he has one and I'll steal it and whatever. Nope. I feel like we're like an anti-khaki pant family, which does make me very proud because I did go to school in DC, and I feel like going to school in DC was like a competition of like who owned the most khaki pants and like, you know, Patagonia vests and boat shoes. And I really firmly dislike that style. So anyway, so I couldn't find khaki fabric. I got on like such a like sidetrack hating on khaki that was like so unnecessary. Like, khaki just caught so many strays for like no reason. But the point of all that was that I don't have khaki fabric, and so I'm going to be making a black skirt because I do feel like black is still kind of uniformy, and I do then think I can wear it later, right? So I won't be sort of making something that I'll never wear again. I have this thick cotton black fabric. It is very, like, it's got a lot of body to it, and so I think that it will be like nice and structured. So I'm gonna make a mini skirt in this fabric, and I think that this with like the corset color and the like blazer color and the tie and the wig or whatever, the costume is gonna be fine. Like, this is not a big deal that I do this in black. I'm going to be using the Jill wrap skirt pattern. So I've never made this pattern before, but again, great reviews and it seems pretty easy. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a mini length version, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We're going to go for it. I'm going to cut the fabric now and cut the pattern and get started. The construction of this skirt so far has been so easy. I finished putting in the what are these things called? Not pleats. The oh my gosh, the darts. So I finished putting in the darts, and then I have the lining and the main. So there's two pieces here, and they are now right sides together, and I'm gonna sew all across the edge on the side, on the bottom, and on the other side, leaving the top open, because then I'm gonna turn it inside out, and I'm gonna finish everything with bias tape. So that's what's in the instructions. But yeah, it's Saturday morning. I left everything cut yesterday, and I've been maybe working on this for the past 40 minutes, and it's already kind of almost getting there. Like, I just really need to sew it all around and finish it with bias tape, and that's really it. So very easy, fast project. Okay, I did this off camera, but I also top stitched all around the bottom edge. So we kind of have the skirt pretty much ready. Now I just need to add the bias tape at the top. And that's going to be kind of like the tie, because it's a wrap. It's a wrap skirt. So I've got pre-made bias tape. Thank the Lord, because I hate making bias tape. And this is black, so this is pretty easy. And I think you're just gonna, yeah, from what I saw in the video, because this comes with an accompanying video, you attach this the way that you attach sort of all bias tape. So you do like one part first, and you sew it again. But I just need to make sure I have like enough length on the strap. So I need to just go back to the directions to make sure that I have enough length at the top. And then, yeah, I'm going to just install the bias tape all across the border to basically seal it in. It's basically going to be sealed in like this. Let me see. And then it's going to be like the little strap. So it's going to be sealed in like this. Maybe I should clip it. And then the strap's going to be hanging out, but I'll obviously like sew this down, and it'll be cute. And that'll be the strap that we use to tie around my waist. So yeah, pretty much done. I'm gonna do that now. All right, I'm just gonna take off all the buttons here. This is, I don't know if I already mentioned this, but this is a jacket I thrifted here in Bogota a couple years ago. And I really never wore it because I was not super fond of the buttons. And then I just never got around to fixing it. I mean, they're really cute. They're just, I don't think that they go with this particular jacket. I feel like this is something I'll use for something else. Maybe something with a linen, or I'm not sure. They're leather, so they're really cute, but yeah, we're taking them off. All right, so other than that, this is prepped and ready to be dyed. I feel like it's gonna definitely look interesting. We'll see how it goes, but you know, it's a jacket I haven't used, and I think I ended up paying something like $4 for it. So I feel pretty good about upcycling it for Halloween. Okay, we're in the kitchen because we're going to be doing some dyeing. I'm going to be using this bucket because it is the largest container I have. It's my husband's gardening bucket. Okay, so we're going to use that, and then again, here is the jacket. I've got 2 big things of water boiling, and then I have instructions. Hold on. Okay, so I've got this boiling, and then I'm gonna be using this Rit dye. It says shake well before using, wear rubber gloves, add hot water to the plastic bucket, add 1 teaspoon of liquid dish detergent. Okay, 1 cup of salt. Then add dye, and then mix well, submerge up to 60 minutes. Okay, so 1 cup of salt. Oh, it says 1 cup of vinegar for nylon. This might be nylon, I don't know. I'm just gonna put vinegar in just in case. Okay, so salt, vinegar, the water, the dye, mix, and then put in the fabric. Okay, let's do it. Okay, this is half a cup, so we're just gonna do 2 of these. 1. And this is salt, by the way. Okay. 2. Okay, this is the vinegar. We're gonna do 1, 2. Oop, I should put on the gloves. It says use rubber gloves, and I'm not putting on gloves. Okay, I don't have liquid dish detergent because we don't use it here in Colombia that much. So I'm gonna put a little bit of laundry detergent, hope for the best. Okay, next up is the water. So this part is the tricky part we want to be careful with because safety first. Okay, there we go. And I've got more boiling water here, which I will add later. Okay, and so now, really, it's just adding the dye. Now it says, for every pound of clothing, use half a bottle. I did do this with another look recently, and it just like didn't really take, so I'm gonna like use most of the bottle here. Should I just use the whole thing?
2 shots of
Let me use like just whatever. Okay, good, that's good. Chopstick to stir it. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the actual jacket in. Okay, and then after I put it in, I'm gonna put more water on top. Okay, let's do it. Moment of truth. Again, this is the biggest container I have. This is the only pair of pants that fits here right now. Okay. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna soak it all up. Then I'll put more water in there. Here we go. Okay. Ooh, that's hot. Okay. Now, it says that I need to... Hold on, can you see my face? Okay. Then I need to leave this in here for like an hour. I think the thing that like I don't like is that it seems to be like popping up at the top. So maybe I need something to like weigh this down. Should I put a bunch of glasses in here? Maybe like a seal pot. Oh, I have a pot. I don't want to mess it. Now, I would say it's moving around freely. It's like, the one thing is it should be able to move around freely. So, it seems like that's happening. All right, I'm going to stay here for a little bit and stir this because I'm like concerned about it. Maybe I'll stir for like another 10 minutes and then after that I'll like leave it and see if I put something on top of it. But honestly, like I said, I did this before. I was trying to dye a jacket and I did it in like a container that was too wide. So I do have like a bigger container that's like to store fabric, but it's so wide that it takes so much water to fill up that I just wasn't able to fill it up all the way, and then the water was getting cold as I was trying. Anyway, so I just didn't take, but I'm thinking that this one is gonna take really well because I can see that the consistency of the water is feeling really dark. And we're going for like a navy blue, so. All right, we'll see. We'll see how this turns out in about an hour. Well, I guess then we'll wash it, but yeah, we'll see. great. This is gonna go on a quick wash and then air dry. So we'll see tomorrow what it looks like, how it turned out. The jacket is ready-ish. I don't know. Okay, so it's patchy. There's like moments of it where it's patchy, and then it's like blue and fine in other parts. So like this part is fine, this part is patchy. And at first I was like, I don't know, like the front is okay. I feel like maybe it's not that big a deal, but it is a big deal. I feel like if you're gonna do things, you might as well do them correctly. I do think that, I don't know, maybe it's the bucket that I'm using, it's not big enough, but if I use a bigger, wider bucket, I just feel like I'm unable to get it full with the hot water fast enough. So, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I'll just give this another dye. Like, I'll just have to put it back into the bucket and, like, maybe move it more. Anyways, yeah, I've decided I'm just going to re-dye this. I feel like one more dye will get it to where it needs to be. But we're almost there. Thankfully, this is not, like, a difficult thing. I just need to, like, heat up the water, whatever. So that's what we're going to do, and then we are going to construct the corset, which is the part of the costume that I'm missing. So let's get into it. Okay, here we are again in the kitchen. I'm going to give this another shot. I'm just going to use like a full bottle, and like there's like a tablespoon left in here. So yeah, let's give it a shot.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But Professor Utonium accidentally added an extra ingredient to the concoction, Chemical X.
Boom. I mean, if you look closely, like on camera, especially with this light, like there are little patches here and there that are not the best. But I do think in general, for what it is, which is a Halloween costume that I just needed like a navy coat for, this is great. And it was, again, something that I wasn't using. I had it in a donation pile actually, and I now used it and it looks good. So I might even keep it and wear it. We'll see. But regardless, that's done. Now I finished the skirt, I finished the blazer, and I need to finish the corset. But then today I was like, okay, I'm gonna cut the fabric out, whatever. And I realized I don't have the corset pattern printed, which sucks. So that's fine. I like couldn't do any sewing in between meetings and stuff like that, which I was trying to do to get ahead. So whatever. So when I finish today at 5, I'm gonna head out and I have to do some errands. One of those things is gonna be printing out the corset pattern, and I have to do a couple of other things because I leave to New York in like 2 days. But that means that tomorrow is really my only day to be able to sew this corset, which should be fine because again, it's pretty simple. But I did also have like an inkling to want to sew something else for my New York trip. But I'm also trying to like not do that. Like I feel like sometimes when I have a trip, I like tend to like panic sew right before it. And I create like stress for myself that doesn't need to exist before a trip. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I don't need to do that. But I just have like the cutest little pattern that I think would look so cute in like a little skirt. Anyway, so I might do that tomorrow as well. But regardless, like number one priority is the corset. So we're just going to start there. So today, all I'm going to do is go print out the pattern. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, it's 7 a.m. and I've got the pattern printed for the corset. I have like 2 hours before work, so I'm gonna see how much of this I can do. This is like one of those letter size ones, but it's pretty simple. I've made this one before. There's 2 parts to it. So there's the actual corset part, which is like the pieces. I'm gonna line the corset so that it's a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna need pieces for the lining and the mane. And then there's also another part of this that's like the channels, like if you wanted to do the channels on top. So that's why there's like 2 patterns. So I'm just gonna put them all together and kind of see what parts I use. Okay, I'm gonna be using these scraps from a recent project. I made like my birthday dress out of this cotton blue that just like is giving to me very much the kind of like prep school blue shirt. I'm making a little corset. It's making it very Halloween-y, but I'm hoping that these scraps are enough for the main piece and for some bias binding, because I'm gonna be lining it, putting interface in it, putting boning in it, and then I am probably gonna finish the edges with bias tape just because it's like a little bit of a cleaner finish, and also because my serger broke, so so I need to make sure that I have enough for the pieces themselves, but also for the bias tape. And then the lining I'm just gonna do using this, like, I've been using this for like every project recently. It's this old bed sheet that like my dog broke, and then it got like stained. It was time to retire. So I'm just using this as lining because it's like whatever, just on the inside. But it is very soft. So I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. Like all of the different pieces I've made with this, I felt like, ooh, that's nice. So anyways, that's gonna be the lining. I iron this, and yeah, so I'm gonna cut the fabric, the main fabric, and hope for the best. Okay, I did so much off camera. I'm like legitimately still in pajamas. I'm like taking meetings today, just camera off. I'm like, no, like I don't feel that good. I'm still like working. It's just in between meetings, like if they're ending early, I'm finishing some of the work that I have to do. Okay, so I did a lot of this off camera. And so what I did was I decided to, I think originally I was going to construct this a little bit differently, but then I decided to just construct the main and the lining separately, and then I'm going to attach them. So everything has been constructed. The seams are pressed flat. I've got the lining. The lining has the lines that I'm going to follow for the boning. So that's good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach the facing and, sorry, the lining and the main fabric wrong sides together to sort of like encase all of those seams. And then I'm going to make the lines for the boning on the lining so that it transfers over to the main side. And then that should be like the whole main piece. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is attach it everywhere except for the top and the bottom of this part so that this stays open, so that I can insert the should I do that from the top? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave the top open, and then everything from the bottom, everything's gonna get enclosed. Yeah, we'll do that. Or should I make, oh my god, I'm struggling because I do need to have the seam allowance kind of protected for the bias tape. So maybe I should, I don't know. I'm gonna just, I feel like my brain is working so slow today. I can't like, anyway, I'll figure it out. It'll be fine. And then I cut up the little straps. I have the straps facing. I'm gonna do these last. So I didn't actually attach this yet to the lining because I'm not sure how I want to do these. I think it would look better if I did it just sort of like the bodice, like I attached these and then I used the bias tape to like enclose it. I think that would look really nice, but I just don't know if I have enough bias tape because I also have to do the bias tape all around the bodice. So if I don't have enough bias tape, then I'll just sew these and then turn them inside out, and then that will be that. It wouldn't look as good, but we'll sort of see again how much of this bias tape I have because I ran out of scraps. And like I said, I'm using entirely scraps for the lining, or for the main fabric. So, okay, let's start with this. I'm just gonna kind of like, I don't know. Part of me is just like, man, draw the stitch all the way around and then I'll just seam rip it so that to make sure that I can see the seam allowance and how much of the boning I need. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna attach the whole thing and then I'm gonna make the lines, and then when I insert the boning, I'll just seam rip and insert the boning, and then I'll just reattach it. That way I'll just like have like a really clean line. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I'm gonna do. So the whole thing around. I have made a lot of progress. I marked off, so I sewed all around as I said I was going to, and then I marked off the little sections that I had to seam rib open to put in the boning. I put in the boning and I pressed it. So, I mean, it's pretty much almost ready. What I'm going to do now is just do bias binding. So attach it the way that you do with bias binding. Do it like, you know, the first loop and the second loop. So I'm going to do bias all around. I also like, I feel like, am I allowed to call it bias tape if I didn't cut it on the bias? Because I usually always make my bias tape with like whatever scraps I have left. Like, I don't know if that's something that you all do, but anyways, so I'm going to touch the bias tape here, and then I'm going to see how much, if any, I have left, and then make a decision about how I'm going to attach the straps. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see sort of where that goes. I think that this is technically supposed to fit here, which means that I might have to put a grommet like here, which is good because I left some space. I knew the grommet was going to go around here, so I made sure not to make the boning too high up. I've made that mistake before. So, do you see the look coming together? This with the blue blazer with a little skirt and then the tie and then the wig. Like, it's going to come together. Okay, so bias binding. This is definitely not my best work, okay? It's a little wonky, but done is good. Okay, so this is pretty much, so I put this strap in, so I did everything. I did the bias binding to close in the corset. I didn't have enough for the straps, so I just sewed them together and turned them inside out and pressed them. I feel like it's fine. And so this is the back part that goes like over the, so the arm, Jesus. The arm goes here, and this goes here. And then this is like the corset, it like sticks here. And yeah, actually that's helpful to know where that goes, because I haven't put the grommets in yet, but I think maybe I'll do the grommet. It says I'm supposed to do it kind of here, but I feel like that's a little too far removed. Maybe it looks different when it's actually attached. Yeah, I'm wondering where I should, the best place is to put this grommet. I guess here. That's where the corset goes. Or is here the best place? Maybe it's directly on top. Unfortunately, I do think it's kind of like right here. And there's a little grommet situation there, or a boning situation there. I feel like that feels good, and this one has to go here. Okay, we'll figure it out, but it's pretty much done. Just gotta put the grommets in. And the corset is complete. Wow. we have a corset. Just, it's right now it's got like pink ribbon because that's all I have, but you know, we'll do a different color ribbon on the day of Halloween. Okay, so just like, just start to see the vision. Okay, start to see how it comes together. We've got the blue underneath, we're gonna have the tie and the hair and the wig, and of course I've got the skirt as well. It's gonna be skirt. Anyways, I'm leaving tomorrow, so I'll show you the rest of the costume when I arrive, because that's what I have the wig. I think it is a good press, but honestly, I'm not about it. Feel pretty good. Nice. Okay, I'm in New York and it's the day of the party, and this is the final look. I told you that the accessories would like kind of pull together. Don't look too close to the jacket because the jacket's a little chopped, but honestly, slay. Like, I made all of this myself. I got this tie, and I do have the soccer ball, and I got the wig, the little shake and go. But aside from that, like the corset, the skirt, the jacket, this is a DIY.